Hi, my name is Georgie. You're probably guessing why I'm wearing black glasses. Yes, I'm blind, and I can't see any of you. Here, wave at me. Wait, it can't be. Come again? It's unbelievable. My eyesight is back. I got you. I still can't see anything. It's darkness all around. I got you good, huh? Oh yes, I'm quite a prankster. You may ask, how can a blind person be a master prankster? Just listen to my story, and in the end, you will find out what doing crazy stuff usually leads to. You'll be surprised to learn that I haven't always been blind. I grew up as an ordinary child with excellent eyesight. Well, come to think of it, perhaps not so ordinary after all. I was very naughty and would always get into trouble because of my pranks. My parents and elder sister, Julie, were always picking me up from the police station, where I kept getting into for my mischief. I would paint a neighbor's cat green or puncture the tires of someone's car. I did so many crazy things back then. It seemed like fun at the time. It never bothered me that people suffered because of me. One Christmas, I decided to have an awesome firework that the whole street would truly enjoy. The more firecrackers, the better, am I right? I dragged a bunch of rockets and firecrackers into the yard and tied them all together. Everything had to be done discreetly, not to spoil the surprise. There I was, lighting the fuse. There was a blinding explosion, and I was thrown back. Yes, the whole street saw those fireworks. It was truly a sight to behold. At least, that's what they told me, because I couldn't see anymore. The flash burned my retinas. My parents were shocked and devastated. Not because of the fireworks, but because of the doctor's verdict. He told them that I was blind, and that I couldn't undergo reconstructive surgery until I grew up. I heard my mom begin to cry. That is the gift I gave myself that Christmas. My whole life changed entirely. I had to relearn how to do simple things. Make my bed, shower, eat. Of course, my dear sister, Julie, helped me with everything. I am very grateful to her for this. My parents transferred me to a special school because of my new condition. Other children with vision problems studied here. A few years later, my sister moved to New York for college. I stayed with my parents. One day, the doctor who had examined me called and said that they had a new technology and could restore my vision. My parents were excited, and a few days later, I went into surgery. I didn't even know if it would help or not. When the anesthesia wore off, the doctor walked into the room and said that the operation went well, and I had every chance to fully recover. Of course, I was ecstatic. My parents were jumping for joy. After a few days of rehabilitation, they finally took the bandages off my eyes, and I saw the light for the first time in many years. Everything was fuzzy at first, but after a week, my vision went back to normal. For the first time, I saw how old my parents got, worrying about me, how tall the tree in our yard had grown, and how I had changed. It was incredible and weird. The next day, my parents decided to send me to Julie's house in New York to tell her the good news. Of course, I gladly agreed. I couldn't wait to finally see my sister. I also asked my parents not to tell her that I could see just yet. I wanted to prank her. That would be the funniest thing. When I arrived in New York, Julie met me at the train station, took my arm, and led me down the street. I saw how she'd grown, how her face had changed. It's not that she looked worse now. On the contrary, she had bloomed. And so my beloved sister and I were walking arm in arm, like we used to. And she had no idea that I could see everything. It was really cool. I was feeling like a superhero. I could feel the punchline of the biggest practical joke in the history of practical jokes getting closer. This whole situation was getting me more excited than ever. When we arrived at campus, Julie brought me to her room. I was about to take my dark glasses off and scream, "Aha, got you!" I could simply imagine how astonished and stunned my sister would become. Suddenly, some girls came into the room. They were Julie's friends. She introduced me to them. The girls began to touch me and say, "So handsome." Too bad you're blind. Then an incredible thing happened. My sister's friends began to change. They weren't shy at all, thinking I couldn't see anything, but I saw everything perfectly. It was the coolest thing I had ever seen in my life. At that moment, I decided I would not be telling Julie that my vision had returned. Now, it truly was the coolest prank in the world. Julie was afraid to leave me alone in a strange city, so she brought me everywhere. And since she only ever spent time with her awesome friends, I was surrounded by girls. I was pretty much a plush toy for them. It suited me just fine. More than fine. I even went to their cheerleading practice once and watched their impressive moves. After that, they went to the shower. I decided to take a chance and came along. I was certain they would kick me out, but they didn't. They told me to sit right there and wait for them. Oh, don't you worry. I'll wait for you, all right. I sat there, looking at the girls through my dark glasses, and they didn't even realize why I was smiling so happily. But one day, this whole fairy tale came to an end. One evening, Julie got a call from our parents. They asked, "How did you like Georgie's surprise?" Naturally, my sister didn't understand, and then our parents told her that I could see again. Oops, surprise! I'd never seen Julie so angry before. She yelled at me and said that I was a jerk, that I couldn't pull such cruel tricks on my own family. Why had I hidden the truth from her for so long? I had to admit that I couldn't take my eyes off of her pretty friends. Julie smiled, hugged me, and said that I was a dummy and that she was glad I had come. "Look at whatever you want from now on," she added. I asked Julie to not give me away to her friends for a while and play along with me being blind. Julie laughed and said, "You little liar. All right, I'll keep your secret." So I started hanging out with my sister's friends again. We went to a water park together, to the gym, to the beach. I told them I was afraid to be alone, so they brought me along everywhere. I kept spying on them. One day, we all went to the country to have a picnic. We brought food, beach towels, and a frisbee to get some action. I was looking forward to a good time in the company of all those awesome girls. Everything was going so well. We decided to have a picnic on a beautiful lawn, and the fun began. The girls went to play frisbee. I said I wanted to play too. Of course, they agreed. I pretended not to see anything, ran across the lawn, and bumped into the girls. On purpose, of course. I like to fall on top of them and then apologize like I did by accident. Julie's friends did not even suspect a thing and kept laughing merrily. I got carried away and stopped paying attention to what I was doing. All of a sudden, I didn't notice a rock, tripped and went flying. Everything happened so fast that I didn't have time to put my hands out and smashed my face against a tree. From such a strong impact, my glasses cracked and darkness fell. I heard the girls scream, and my sister started crying. I felt someone lift me and carry me somewhere. I remember how fast we drove, the doctor's voices, but I couldn't see anything. Have you guessed what happened? The sharp glass shards hurt my eyes. I didn't even feel any pain. I was too shocked by what was happening. I was given first aid in the hospital and sent back to my hometown. I could hear my parents' worried voices. My mom was crying, and my dad was giving her nerve tonics. They asked me how it happens and couldn't believe that I couldn't see anything again. The next day, we went to the doctor who operated on me. He looked at my eyes for a long time and said that I was blind again, and this time, for good. My parents began to cry. In the evening, my mother felt her heart hurt. I heard my father calling for an ambulance, the doctors talking about a heart attack, and my mother being taken to the hospital. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. It was all my fault. After all, if I hadn't played with fireworks, if I hadn't been pretending to be blind, none of this would have happened. Only now did I realize that I was hurting my loved ones with my endless pranks. And I wanted to fix it all, but I couldn't. All I could do was pray for my mom to be okay. I promised myself that I would never upset my family with dumb jokes again. Well, that's my story. Now you know what doing crazy stuff usually leads to. The pain and grief of our loved ones. It's a shame that we realize it too late. Even though I can't see you, I know this got you thinking. You probably remembered all the things in your life you wish you hadn't done. Things that upset your family and friends. I've told you about the wrong things I've done, and now it's your turn. Subscribe to the channel and share your stories. After all, I want to believe that I'm not alone in this.